Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia, where we absolutely love making wreaths. With me today is Simba, and in today's video we are making a nautical folded ruffle wreath. This is a great technique when you have a big sign to use and you need that fullness of the deco mesh. Let's get started. Here are the few supplies we're going to need for this wreath, starting with a 21-inch roll of Deco Mesh that is 10 yards in length, some pipe cleaners. I'm going to use this one that I got at Sam's Club. It is 1.5 inches wired and it's 50 yards. To attach the sign to the wreath, I'm going to use a few felt pieces and some pipe cleaners. One of the reasons I'm doing a folded ruffle for this wreath is because our sign is really large. It's 9 inches in width and 13 inches in height. For our wreath base, I'm using a metal 14-inch wreath form. I'm also going to need a pair of scissors, a rotary cutter, and some wire cutters. I always have these two in the description box and in my Amazon shop. For this method, you can attach your pipe cleaners in 3 different ways. The first one is attached to row 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 4. And then repeat that process, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 4. If you're using a sign that's a little smaller, say about 10 inches in width or diameter, then I recommend using a row 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, 2 and 3 to attach your pipe cleaners. In my case, I'm going to be using quite a large sign, and as I said, I usually use this method for larger signs. We're going to be using 3 pipe cleaners per section, and the way we're going to attach them is in a zigzag pattern. So, for example, we're going to start right here. We're going to do 1, and then 2, and 3. Those are our 3. Since we ended on rows 2 and 3, our next section will start with 3 and 4. So that will be 1, 2, 3. Let's attach the pipe cleaners. So rows 2 and 3, 2 twists. Row 2 and 3 is our innermost row. So we're going to fold our pipe cleaners towards the inside. Then we're going to go on row 3 and 4, 2 twists, and we're going to fold it out. Since it's our outside row. This really comes in handy when we're attaching our folded ruffles. Now I'm back to row 2 and 3, 2 twists, and we're going to fold this one towards the inside row. Our first section is done, so pipe cleaner 1, 2, and then 3. And if you are new to wreath making, definitely just focus on section at a time. I feel like that helped me tremendously when I was starting out. So now I'm starting my second set of 3, and since I finished on row 2 and 3, I'm going on 3 and 4. As I said, we are zigzagging all the way around, and I'm going to continue repeating this pattern until all 18 pipe cleaners are attached. I have 9 pipe cleaners on the inside row, 9 pipe cleaners on the outside row. And as you can see, I put my cutting mat vertically because we are going to be cutting our deco mesh next. Let's do a little math, my friends. Our deco mesh roll is 10 yards, which is 360 inches. We're going to take 360 inches, divide that by the 18 pipe cleaners that we're going to use, and that's going to give us 20 inches. That means we're going to be cutting our deco mesh into 20-inch strips. The first thing I'm going to do is cut the edge of this deco mesh. On my rotary cutter, this little circle is what takes it out of safety, just pushing it back and forth, and now I can use it. And I'm just going to cut as straight of a line as I can. My cutting mat is 18 inches plus 1/2 inch on the side. We're going to need 20, so you can either eye it or add another 1.5 inches. We have 18, 19, and that's 20. Seriously, it's 1.5 inches. You can definitely eye it. Now it's time to start cutting all my deco mesh, and as I cut each piece, I'm going to roll it up and put it in a laundry basket next to me. It's the best way to keep these from fraying. My Deco Mesh is all cut up, and now it's time to start making our folded ruffles. If you've ever seen a ruffle made or you made a ruffle, that's basically what we're going to do here. But because we have a 21-inch roll of Deco Mesh, we're going to fold it in half and proceed with making the ruffle. In this video, we're going to be talking about the cut edge, which is where we cut with our rotary cutter, and the factory edge, and that is the thick edge on the outside. The first thing we're going to do is unroll our piece of Deco Mesh and put factory edge to factory edge. When I have my factory edges next to each other, I'm going to put the whole piece vertically and put something to kind of settle it. I'm going to center my piece of Deco Mesh on my cutting mat, and as you can see, I'm going to follow the 10-inch square. We should be at 10.5 inches because this is a 21-inch piece of Deco Mesh. When I have my Deco Mesh centered, I'm going to go to the edge, fold in about an inch, and this should be no problem for the Deco Mesh because that is how it originally was rolled. Now that that's done, all we're doing is collecting a ruffle right in the center, and I'm going to pay attention to the center of my cutting mat and bring it together. When I come towards the end, this end also needs to be folded in, and as you can see, not a problem. It actually helps you, just like that. And we're going to bring it together. Our bow is beautiful. On one side, we have the rounded end. On here, we have the factory edge. As always, I'm going to start from the inside row. And on the inside row, I want this factory edge to be facing out. Let's attach 2 nice tight twists. When it comes to this inside row, that's all I'm going to do. So I am going to twist the pipe cleaner up about an inch, cut the excess, fold in and fold back. We're only going to do this to the pipe cleaners on the inner row. On the outer row is where we're going to add our ribbon bundles. And now we're going to attach to the outside row. On the outside row, I want the smooth end of my ruffle to be on the outside and the factory edge to be on the inside. A few twists, and we're going to leave this pipe cleaner alone. The reason that my outside ruffles have the smooth end on the outside is for 2 reasons. It will prevent fraying because there's nothing you can do to this side that will fray. And number 2, I just think it's aesthetically nicer to look at a nice smooth edge of the wreath. Let's make our next ruffle, factory edge to factory edge. Here's a quick tip for folding the top and the bottom in, and that is to start on the edge. If you fold the top and the bottom, you have them in one hand. With this hand, you're just going to pull in that inch, and these will follow nicely, and you have a nice fold. At this point, we just gather. Same thing when we get to the edges on this side, we're going to fold in those edges, keep them together, fold in, and then bring the rest of your ruffle together. The next one is our inside row, so I'm going to flip my ruffle for that smooth end to be on the inside and my factory edge to be on the outside. And then I'm going to twist about an inch from our connection, cut off the excess, fold and fold back. This one's taken care of. The ruffles are all on, and now it's time to take care of those spaces in between the ruffles. I'm going to go around, and where my factory edge ruffles are on the outside, I'm going to pull them out. I'm all done with the ruffles, bringing the sign in. I just want to give you a perspective of how huge this wreath is. This sign is 13 in height. We have a few inches on the sides. My cutting mat is 24 inches in width with half inch on the side. It's 25 inches. As you can see, this wreath takes up the entire cutting mat. Next, I'm going to grab my ribbon, and the striped one that I have, I'm going to cut into 12-inch strips, and I'm going to need 18 of these. To make it easy on myself, I'm going to just zigzag up until I get 18 pieces. I got my 18 pieces of ribbon. Now I'm just going to fold the edges and cut a little triangle going from inside out, making sure I cut the ends. Just like that. There we go. For my second ribbon, I originally wanted to use this blue, but I decided to use this beautiful burlap one. This one is from Costco. I'm going to be cutting this ribbon at 20 inches. Going to need 9 of these, and we are going to be making 1 loop bows, or sometimes known as awareness ribbon bow. Now I'm just going to fold the ends, cut little corners while cutting the edge of that ribbon. That way it's ready to go. We are ready to make our ribbon bundles. I'm going to take 2 of the 12-inch pieces of ribbon, make a little crisscross, take the 20-inch ribbon, fingers on this side, fingers on that side, and then we're going to bring our thumbs together. One more time. Fingers on this side, fingers on that side, holding my ribbon, and then bringing my thumbs together. To attach it to my bundle, I'm going to flip it so that the small ring is on top. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure 4 inches for my tails, which means tip to corner 4 inches, tip to corner 4 inches right here. And I know I have a perfect size little bow. Now I'm going to put it right on top and then gather it together. Attach it to my wreath, twist up my pipe cleaner, cut the excess, fold, and fold back. If you want at this time, you can definitely open up your ribbon. You can either put your bow going vertically or horizontally. That is up to you. I'm going to put it vertically because I feel like it balances out nicely. This is what my ribbon bundles will look like on this wreath. Now I'm going to take 2 more of the 12-inch, cross them just like this, put them to the side, ready to make the awareness ribbon. Fingers on this side, fingers on the back side. Bring my thumbs together. Measure 4 inches for my tail. Tip to center, tip to center. We know where our center is. Going to flip so that the small ring is on top. And now we're going to bring everything together and attach it to the next pipe cleaner. Let's fold this back. Make sure that our bundles are beautifully laid out. I just wanted to show you that all my ribbon bundles are on. They look beautiful. And now we're going to take care of the center of the wreath. Let's get the sign ready. Usually I take the jute cord that's used to hang the sign and remove it, but this time I'm actually going to keep it on because I think those holes are really going to show. I'm simply going to hot glue them to the back. And then we're going to just have a nice strand of the jute cord in the front. That's it. I think the jute cord kind of plays in with the colors nicely, and that's better than having 2 holes that are obviously meant to hang the wreath. Because the sign is so large, I'm going to attach it in 4 places. To find my center, I'm just going to grab another wreath base, and I'm simply going to mark where to attach. Next, I'm going to grab some felt pieces that are about 1 inch by 2 inches. I have a long one right here that I'm just going to fold and cut. Now I'm going to grab the 4 floral wires, fold them in half, but I am going to make a little flat space right there in the middle, just like that. And one at a time, I'm going to put some hot glue on. Then my pipe cleaner. Then I'm going to put some hot glue on top, on the pipe cleaner, and at the bottom. Simply put my little felt piece right over it. And I'm going to repeat this on all 4 corners. The sign is all ready to be attached to our wreath. At first, when I'm attaching any sign, I just put the pipe cleaners on and twist maybe 2 times. The sign is in the center of the wreath. It's not squished in too much, and it's not too much on top of the wreath, so that is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just lock in the pipe cleaners, making sure you have the top of the wreath. Go ahead and put in your hanging loop. I'm going to attach it to row 3 and make a few knots. I'm just using a piece of jute cord in this case. Cutting off the excess, and I'm going to pull the loop through the front so that we can cover the back. I'm going to use a placemat and 3 zip ties to cover the back. Attach the zip ties in 3 places. This way I have access to the back of the wreath if I need to fix something. For example, the sign is sagging, maybe it's a little lower than I expected. That's why 3 zip ties is more than enough. After I zip tied it, I'm going to cut off the tail, and this nub is going to be moved to the back. That way we have a smooth connection. Next one, and the third one. Nice and pretty in the back. Now I'm just going to make sure that the ribbon is nicely laid out. Final touches, and that's it. Our wreath is all done. I hope you enjoyed this wreath tutorial, and give it a try if you haven't tried this method before. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell button so you are notified every time we post a video. As for Simba and I think we're going to say bye-bye, and thank you so much for being with us. Say bye. Mwah! Bye, my friends.